is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar. Well, now the London Guardian is coming out saying it's time to join the preppers because government can't and won't supply aid during all sorts of emergencies. Idaho families walked 19 miles after getting stranded in the snow blizzard. Epidemic of potholes, third snowiest winter in Philly on record. Second snowiest February in New York City on record, and that's in 300 years. Boston blanketed for 9th time in 16 days. Fast-moving storm creates whiteout conditions in Chicago. Yeah, my cousin just came down here for my uncle's memorial because they had a funeral, but they're also having a memorial this weekend, so everybody could come. And he just said it's just hellish in Chicago, just absolutely hellish. And I'm looking at Drudge Report, DrudgeReport.com articles right now. But the whole point is that it's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And by the way, the London Guardian doesn't say start prepping. They also say it's climate change apocalypse is upon us. No, it's the sun cool down in its cycle, and it's the sun stupid, and the earth gets hot and gets cold, and we should pray for hot cycles because that's when we can grow more stuff, dummy. I mean, the old-timers knew they went through cycles, and you know it, too. You just want to make the public so ignorant and so superstitious and so dumbed down that they think if we don't worship the high priest Al Gore and he doesn't wave his magic wand when he's running around in a nightgown or whatever he does, chasing a masseuse around, that if he doesn't engage in leprechaun activities and give us a pot of gold, we're all dead. I'm just sick of it. JJ in California, thanks for holding her on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
I am doing good, brother.
Hey, I really want to thank you for inspiring me to, first of all, I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller. I actually created a YouTube channel where I post a YouTube about Obama and what's going on, usually on an every other week basis. It's just when I get really frustrated.
Oh, that's good. Every listener should be on the enemy platform, YouTube. Everyone should have their own blog. Everyone should be doing something to be heard. And together, if everybody did that just from this show, it'd be over. If everybody just started getting active, it would overturn the system immediately.
And I appreciate that. You really inspired me to do that. And I posted on my Facebook, and I also posted on my LinkedIn account, which I have. Well,
good. Just plug it. Go ahead and plug it.
Thank you. It's called Obama Factor 727. And the email is ObamaFactor727.
Listen, that's great. I'm glad to plug it, but if I let people plug on and on, it'll just kind of get repetitive. And what'd you call in about specifically, sir, on the topics?
A few things that you've inspired me to talk about. First of all, I love it how Obama can wave a magic wand and extend Obamacare until 2016. And the only reason why he did that, as you and I know, is to prevent tens of millions of people from losing their insurance policies. And, obviously voting against the Democratic platform this November. So that was a very smart political move on his point.
But it's even more deceptive for most people that they're still kicking them off. It's false hope. That's even a lie. Do you understand that? Just like I told you, most people signing up who thought they signed up didn't. So it isn't 3 million like they say. It's not even 1 million. It's all fraud. If you're going to tell one lie and get away with it, why not tell 85 jillion?
And look at the state of Oregon. I mean, what a fraud there. They spent $6 million on that website, and not one person has signed up. Not one.
But they do that on purpose, and even mainline news now says the websites nationally and at state levels don't work because they want to make it about the broken website, not about the fact you go on and they double your premium. My dad's is more than doubled. Mine is doubled. And most people in Texas were getting it where it went up 30%. Oh, another 2 months later, another 30, another 30. And I see my crew nodding out there. That's how it's working. They're just doing it like in the shark bite. It's not even in small bites, though. It's shark bites, but it's not in one big piece. They're just gobbling us up. But you heard him. He said it wouldn't raise your premiums. It would lower them, and you could keep your doctor. Doesn't matter. It's a lie. Are you a racist, sir?
Yeah, no. I just want to ask, how many times does Obama get to lie before someone stands up and says, we're going to impeach him? I mean, he lied about the video. He's lying about the IRS. He's lying about the ACA. And What about the shovel-ready jobs that he spent?
We've got to go after the Republican leadership that is going, be nice to us, Tea Party, be friends, while they fund money with the Democrats to kill the Tea Party. They're like, you know, stand down, while they're firing on us. They run up a white flag and then launch an offensive while they have white flags waving everywhere. And just like mainline pundits are saying, the Republican leadership doesn't want to go after the IRS because they want the Tea Party destroyed. Globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com. A report showing that amnesty equals suicide for the Republican Party and will create a one-party socialist state in the United States. And she's got all the numbers in her report showing exactly what that would do. The demographic breakdown and showing how those people that would be legalized tend to vote. And so we're going to break down the fact that this is a political class that wants to get full control by having a voting class that is on welfare and on different handouts who can then vote to enslave everyone else using the free society to enslave the society. Well, in a republic, you're not a pure democracy. In a pure democracy, you could have 51% vote to make the other 49 slaves. Or you could have, 51% vote to kill the other 49 if they thought they could get away with it. First, they want to disarm them and things like that. And it's just incredibly obvious to see what's going on. She's going to be joining us. Look, here's the deal. I really just want to go to your calls. I'm going to give each caller about a minute. Make your point. I want to hear from you. We're going to go to the next person. As you hear each caller hang up, that's your chance to call in, 800-259-9231. Then I've got some other Iranian hacking news, supposedly of Cyber Command, right as they try to pass the cybersecurity legislation. Big news on Venezuela, the economy, and more that we will be getting to. But first, let's go to your phone calls. Wayne in Virginia, thanks for calling in. You're on the air.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Okay, that's done with. I just want to tell everybody how joyful it is to spread the word. I bought a pickup truck, and 5 months later I sold it. I took the plates back to DMV so I could get my refund, and I started telling the lady, anytime I have a captive audience, I tell everything. But I try to lighten it up. You know, they go, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing better. The shrink let me out. And that lightens the situation. So I start telling her about Agenda 21 and geoengineering, and she looks at me and goes, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, no, I don't. I'm sorry. She says, I sold you these plates. You told me all this before. I said, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry then. She said, well, I went home, and me and my husband looked up Agenda 21. Our house is now on the market. We are getting out of here. And so it's just so, you can't imagine how good it feels, the success. You're sitting there, you don't see it, but when they look you right in the face and say they listened to you and they paid attention to you, it feels great.
Well, that's the issue, because we've got the truth. We've got the light in the dark. And it's true. We know what's going on. It's not that we're rocket scientists. We'll face the facts historically, not what the fake controlled state-run media or Hollywood has said. And people are hungry for it. I mean, not the trendies. I mean, they would jump off a cliff if they thought it was cool to do. But the general public is starting to wake up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it is fun. I mean, if you walk into a restaurant and they sit down, how you doing? Well, I'm in a restaurant. I'm hungry. You know, you lighten the situation up, and then you can just tell them anything, and they're a receptive audience. And I can't stop. I don't care where I am. If I go to the bank, I tell them about the Federal Reserve. I go to the grocery store, I'm telling them about GMO foods. I'm always on. And it is a great feeling when you find somebody that listened to you and is awake and is spreading the word now also. So I just wanted to pat you on the back and keep up the good work. And that's about all I have, man. It's great to wake somebody up.
It is, Wayne. Again, it's good to find your fighting spirit again. It's good to decide you're not just going to accept all this. The globalists tell you you're powerless. There's nothing you can do. It's over. Constantly, because they know you have power. And they want to intimidate you with political correctness where you're afraid to be a cowboy at Halloween or a Native American or a geisha girl. They want to make everybody feel guilty but them, the globalists, that are really the guilty ones. The Democratic Party, on record, the Ku Klux Klan Party, until the mid-1960s, they started losing elections against the Republicans that passed the Civil Rights Act under Eisenhower a few years before, and they said, well, we'll do race politics this way now, and broke the other direction. And it's worked great for them. And the Republican leadership is bought and paid for by the same interests. That's why the Democrats can't be beaten, because they're not up against opposition. So here comes the Tea Party, set up by Ron Paul and libertarians. The Republicans try to co-opt it. It blows up in their face and metastasizes, in their view, and starts taking over. And right now they are in an emergency, like chickens with their heads cut off, running around at these corporate meetings on record. All hands on deck, throwing all the Democrat and Republican money they've got to crush the Tea Party. That's on record. That's even on Fox News now, they admit that. And the Republican leadership won't do a thing about the Tea Party having the IRS come after them. Let the crooked IRS come after you. Let them try to make stuff up. Go public. Big deal. I've had them do it to me. I'm not doing it. I'm paying their fake fraudulent taxes to the fake, fraudulent, private, run-for-profit Federal Reserve. And if you're a 501c3, you have every right to promote the Bill of Rights and Constitution. They're liars when they tell you you can't. I'm not a 501c3, but the point is, that's what they're going after. The Democrats are squealing and yelling in the news this week going, I saw it Sunday, make it illegal to have a Tea Party 501c3, more IRS. These people are beating us. Well, yeah, because you're incredibly unpopular. Saying we didn't build our businesses and our kids don't belong to us. You are a bunch of freaks who sit up there with a moral high ground up against loyal opposition with Boehner, who plays golf with Obama constantly. I mean, what a joke. Remove Boehner. Remove all of the leadership out of leadership positions. They could do that right now. Put Tea Party people in there and start explaining what's going on, and then people would come to the leadership. And you'd have the Tea Party take the Senate and the House. We could save this country. We've just got to decide we want to do it. We've just got to decide we're not losers. But everybody's like, oh, we'll never defeat the New World Order. Oh, we can never be so. Alex, there's no way you snuck in Bohemian Grove. There's no way people got footage of Skull and Bones. There's no way that guy got on the NFL post-press conference and took over. There's no way that's real. There's no way you actually built your media system by yourself. There's no way that you beat that guy arm wrestling. That guy's bigger than you. There's just no way you could. There's no way there's no way you grew those watermelons. Those are just too big. There's no way. You built that house on your own. There's no way. There's no way your son just wrote this paper for school. We just don't believe it. It's too advanced. Well, you're an adult and you're a moron. My son's smarter than you. I put my son in private school before, and they're like, you wrote this paper, your wife did. And I'm like, no, my 9-year-old son did. Because he reads, at that time, he's 11 now, he was reading adult literature. And it's because it's arrested development. My father was reading, when he was 4. He was reading adult literature when he was 6 or 7. My dad would be sent away on the summers as training, folks. He didn't get sent to pick cotton one month in September or whatever, because the family, it sounded like my dad was in cotton fields. They sent him to teach him hard work. Then they sent him for 2 months to work in a machine shop in Houston when he was 10. And then they'd send him to work in a bank for 3 months. My dad was, that's what you did in the old days. You sent your sons, especially, your daughters as well, to apprentice so that they knew how to do everything. That's what a man knew how to do. No, he didn't do any of that. They've taught us just to be incredibly weak. Like people tune in and watch like steer wrestling, and they see some guy jump off a horse and grab a huge cow and throw it down like, that can't be real. Because people don't believe in what a human can do. They have no... Well, of course, if you're telling us we're all a bunch of scum that walk off the edge of streets or into fountains or off bridges with our iPhones, that's what the globalists want to contend with. A bunch of jellyfish, ladies and gentlemen. God didn't build a bunch of crap. The New World Order builds crud. I'm sorry, I said I'd take a lot of calls. John in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, it was great to see you at the Second Amendment rally in San Antonio. And I wanted to speak quickly about a microcosm of politics that's happening in Texas right now with Greg Abbott bringing Nugent on to go to a few of his governor campaign stops. And then he's in turn attacked by Gilberto Hinojosa, Wendy Davis, Van de Putte by saying, well, Nugent is talking bad about our first African-American president, and the finer points of politics don't even come up. Never mind that he's supporting the Second Amendment. Never mind that anything is being said or wants to be talked about. It goes straight to the race card, straight against he hates women, and then end of discussion, shamed him to the corner, and that's all.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Ted Nugent is a red-blooded caveman who loves women and who never has done anything racist to anybody. And he grew up in Detroit, and a bunch of his band are black. So that's all they've got. I mean, you can't send a meme making fun of Obama now, or they make it take it off your Facebook if you go to public school saying it's racist. We've played the teachers on air, the clips that students have recorded going, you don't criticize Obama, you can be arrested. These are authoritarians. And yeah, no, I think Abbott is probably one of the better candidates for governor there. That or Jerry Patterson. Who do you like for governor?
I like Patterson. I enjoyed meeting him there at the Alamo at the time. And as far as people waking up, I have to say I work in the pharmaceutical business, and I work with about 40 to 50 people who, all on an individual basis, would love to discuss the finer points of 9/11, fiat currency, media brainwashing, all of that. It's just about taking that second step over the line and doing something about it in your community, as the last caller spoke to.
Beautifully said. Thank you for the call. By the way, again, I'm not against pharmaceuticals. There are some great drugs out there. There's some great doctors and nurses. It's that 50 years ago, they knew about side effects. They would pull a drug pretty quick if it was causing deformities, brain damage. Now they just go, conspiracy theory, none of this is possible when the drug insert says it can do it. It's like antibiotics. They're a miracle drug. The problem is they're starting to not work. What happens when they don't work anymore? We're left with superbugs. I'm just pointing out the problems. And then you get something like a Gardasil that doesn't protect you from papilloma on record. Go read the trials. Kills people and is obviously a sterilant. I'm not saying your local doctor or a nurse is a bad person. I'm saying the people at the top of the pyramid are muy el diablo. Let's talk to Timothy in Virginia. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Just want to mention one quick thing. Your InfoWars magazine, the Full Throttle Liberty centerfold with Leanne McAdoo and the 50 calibers and the Trans Am and all the explosions.
Well, they would say we hate women because we have that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I thought it was a celebration of America.
Looks like it's a celebration of life.
Exactly. We do it all for America.
Well, what I'm going at, I think that would be great. You do a full poster, so that on your store or something. I think InfoWars war people would love that.
Well, that's how we're going to win the Second Amendment, private property, everything. We put women on top of capitals. We put women on the fronts of ships. All our ancestors went into battle with flags with women on them. My grandfathers put them on the side of their planes. I've already lined up, and I'm going to, I got too many projects going. We're going to get a bunch of ladies in here, and we're going to have a whole bunch, just a squadron of lovely ladies to go out and promote liberty. And, of course, Leanne McAdoo will be, right at the center of the phalanx. But very, very exciting to promote liberty the way it's meant to be. Anything else?
Yeah, just one more thing. The drought out in California, don't you think that maybe that has something to do with a little bit of that geoengineering, all those chemtrails, and maybe a corporate land a power grab of all the farms out there? The people are experiencing all the droughts. I mean, those farmers have to sell their land. I mean, you watch the video, what's it called? Why in the world are they spraying? You watch that, and that totally convinced me that maybe what's going on out in California right now is just total just geoengineering a drought. They're just doing that to take all the land.
Well, I mean, here's the bottom line. There is massive geoengineering going on, and that's just a fact. But it's so secret. They admit they're doing the giant global program. North America is their main battleground. But they won't give us the details of what it is. So people say, man, there's weird weather. Yeah, how do there is weird weather. How do we know they're not false flagging us to then sell all this? But I totally agree with you.
Yeah, organic farming is huge out in California, and it's supposed to be on the rise this year. But with all this drought, food prices are going to skyrocket, and organic farms are probably going to end up having to sell out to Monsanto and people like George Soros to be able to get out of there. They may even be forced to leave, if they don't have water to do a
Well, they've
farm.
caught the IMF and World Bank. They even made a James Bond movie, not the last one, but the one before last, where the big bank shuts off the water from the mountains so they can buy up the country. That was actually a true story. Yeah, that was where? Quantum of Solace, yes, that's actually based on a true story. But the whole point is that, yes, they're messing with everything. They're playing God, and until we admit that's going on, we have no chance in facing it. We have to admit we're in a manipulated paradigm, a matrix-like paradigm, to be able to change it. Thank you, Timothy. Kevin in West Virginia, thanks for calling in. You're on the air worldwide.
How are you, Mr. Jones, in Bizarro World today?
I'm doing pretty good, brother, talking to you.
Cool. Well, I have a couple. I wanted to say that I totally agree with Obama being a dictator, and the whole Obama administration needs to come down, and the Tea Party needs to be put in there, and we need to have people like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, back in place. We need our country back. I feel I'm 29 years old, and I want to have the same rights, and to grow up and to have the same things that our forefathers had. And there's another issue I have too with welfare. I don't know if you'd be able to answer this or not. I'm on welfare. I'm blind, and I don't
have any problem with you being on welfare. It should be locally covered by the state, the city, or the churches. And again, people that are actually disabled, that's what it's for. And quite frankly, if somebody was on welfare and didn't vote to take my guns and they couldn't get a job, I'd be fine. It's you're going to be on welfare, come here, be made legal, and then vote to make me your slave? No. No, no, no. That's the issue. They've shut the jobs down. They've shipped them overseas. They're disabling people with all the soft kill. We've got the highest cancer rate in the world. I don't bemoan people that are on welfare by hazard, by being thrown onto it. I don't like J.P. Morgan Chase publicly running the welfare system nationwide and trying to get people onto it to bankrupt things.
You are watching the best of the Alex Jones Show, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Watch live at Infowars.com/show or become a member of InfoWarsNews.com and help us take resistance to the next level.
Kevin in West Virginia, you're on the air. Kevin, welcome.
Hello again, Mr. Alex. As I was talking, I'm blind, and they give me $700 a month to live on, which is total bullcrap. And what I like is how other people, they who don't need it, suck off the system, and then they vote to take your guns and to enslave us. I think it's wrong, and I have this fighting spirit, and with the only $700 that I have, I want to fund the operation.
No, people that don't have money have no responsibility. You can spread the word about the show. Listen to this for a minute. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, you'd have a more diverse, larger family, and they would take care of you, and you'd have jobs you could do, like watching the house when they were gone, and raising the alarm if there was any issue. And if you didn't have family, a local church would have you live in the church, and you would basically just be somebody that kept, no pun intended, an eye on things. You know, you would just be there somebody to, you know, kind of, you know, help out with stuff. That's how society works. Instead, the government comes in with charity, and so now there's no reason for anybody else to be involved in it. And I know it's very frustrating. Have you ever gone to a school for the blind, or because they have a lot of industries for you?
I have tried, but I keep screwing up myself. I keep, you know, wanting to. I'm my own worst enemy. You know, the zero drug tolerance, not smoke pot, and I feel sorry for myself, and so I smoke because I went down that.
Well, I mean, listen. Here's the deal. It's coming out that people are smoking pot, and it's not as bad as alcohol. I don't smoke it, and I just think it's discriminatory, and I do think that. You know, that's really prohibitive. Plus, they ship the drugs in to begin with, but I get some places not wanting to be around potheads because some people really abuse it. But I know it must be hard to live on $700 a month. You know, I would try to kick it, go through the system, and I would try to become more entrepreneurial. You know, I would use the fact that you're visually impaired, as they say, to, you know, try to learn how to do it and develop it, and, you know, get a food cart or something, and you know, make a not a joke out of it, but, you know, but make that the issue of, hey, you know, come over here, thanks for your, you know what, these are really good hot dogs. I know they taste good and I get the best ingredients, but make sure I'm making this right. Is that good? Everybody would come to you instinctively, just like in the old ancient village. If somebody was blind, they would take you with them fishing, and then you would help them out with stuff. And then you would be impaired in that one area, but instinctively ancient cultures knew that someone impaired in one area would generally be more advanced in another. Like in an ancient culture, someone who was blind would end up developing other senses, and then you would end up being like a shaman or a witch doctor. I mean, it's unbelievable. We are not a democracy. We are a republic. 51% can't vote to make me a slave, but they're operating like that now. I saw a Time magazine cover the other day that had the Capitol on it, and it said majority rule and was X'd out, and was saying the majority in a fake poll want to ban guns, but we can't do it. The majority want Obamacare. It was an old magazine, but we can't do it. The majority want to have their heads chopped off. We can't do it. There's a new article out at Infowars.com. Poll, 71% wish they'd not voted for Obama. Even 55% of Democrats say they regret re-electing the president. Too late, suckers. And it doesn't mean Romney would have been even better. The fix was in. That's the point. Matt Drudge tweets report warning about suicide of the GOP. And then that's got Shafley's report reposted in it. So be sure and get that out to everybody you know. Right now, let's go to another phone call. Andrea in Michigan, you're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing great talking to you.
Thanks. Hey, I'm calling about something that I heard another caller say earlier. I woke up this morning and I was just really thinking, you know, how for the last few months you've been feeling in your gut that there's a false flag and coming up. And I just was thinking, I saw a really cool on YouTube, a geoengineering scientist has got a video out. And I really think that that might be what they're up to in California, because it just, there's not enough evidence, and they're getting smarter because too many people out there are kind of pointing out their false flags. And it just seems like that's something that maybe you can blow the lid off of, you know.
Well, sure, here's the problem, and I'm not criticizing anybody. Everybody uses the layman provincial term chemtrails that we started hearing about in the early 90s. And there's a patent, and the guy won in 92, I forget the scientist's name, a UN Science Prize for developing, quote, sunscreen for the Earth. Kids' textbooks teach that they're already spraying it to save us from global warming. But the details are all classified. It's added to jet fuel under 4 patents, so the pilots don't even know what's going on. It's aerosolized, barium salts, limit dioxide, others. There's a $5 billion a year Department of Energy program. And they do seem to be concentrating out on the West Coast with all that moisture coming in, manipulating and stopping it. And they've got aircraft out there spraying, and we know it's going on. And they've had even people from the California Department of Environment, go out there and go, yeah, we're getting like 20 times the aluminum. We're getting barium salts. The trees are dying. So I don't know what's going on because the program's secret, but it's bad. And it's weather modification, you name it. And, I mean, the globalists will pay to ship General Motors to China, will pay to ship Jeep to Italy. They'll pay to shut down your local power plant. I mean, they are shutting America down, except for select globalists who are exempt. And it's just a serious situation, I hear you. So we do need to look at the California drought. Is it a chemtrail operation? And look at the geoengineering program and admit it's going on and show that it manipulates weather and do a report for the Nightly News or something on that. I agree with you. I appreciate your call. Let's go right to your calls. Andrew in New York. Thanks for holding her on the air. Then Nico. Then William, at least. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, how are you doing today, Alex?
Good, brother.
Calling in from New York. I deliver actually out on a military installation. I find it funny we got all these crazy things going on in the world all the time, but all it takes to get in without your proper identification to military base is a pizza bag. They don't do as much security as they should, considering all the things they say we got to worry about.
Yeah, most of it's staged.
Oh, absolutely. We out here at Fort Drum, actually, up in upstate New York. They pull you. I got pulled over once going through the gate. They open your vehicle up for their unconstitutional inspections, and all they saw was a pizza bag. Okay, you're good to go. So if you ever want to do anything, all it takes is a pizza bag. You don't need big weapons. You don't need much to get on and do what you got to do.
Well, again, I don't even say it's unconstitutional when they search you going on a base. That's a military reservation. But they're now exporting that onto the streets, which is unconstitutional. And it is all total theater. Even if terrorism was real, honeybees kill more people every year in North America than terrorism does. And so why are you fear-mongering? School shootings, deer kill more people. Would you have TSA on the highway to stop deer jumping out in front? It's a power grab, period, any way you slice it. Great points, Andrew. Nico in Illinois, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good. I see the topic you called in. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, sir. Mr. John B. Wells got kicked off of Coast to Coast, and I did a little bit of research, not much, and that's why I hope you guys can do some research. I'm going to be really fast here. I think he got kicked off because Premier Radio Network is a big supporter of the Bush family or whatever, and because he was too popular and too truthful. So just looking at that, and I appreciate that so much. And the other thing is, I called in about a month ago doing a Hank Hill impersonation, and you were like, oh, that sort of sounded like Hank Hill. Well, let me tell you, sir, I do voice impersonations, and if you could give me like 10 seconds here, I want to do an impersonation of you from the best soundbite this century that I've heard on TV. And I don't watch TV.
Go ahead and do it.
All right, here we go.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. You understand me?
I bet I can do a better one because it's me. But hey, listen, great job. I appreciate your call. Listen, I'm not getting in the middle of this John B. Wells, George Norrie, Coast to Coast AM deal. I really like John B. Wells. I think he's a very smart, talented guy, and I consider him a friend. I've hung out with him a few times. And I really consider George Norrie and all them friends, and I know George likes him. George had nothing to do with it. The Coast to Coast people didn't have anything to do with it. He started his own private show separate from theirs, and there wasn't even a discussion of it. And I'm not getting in the middle of it. But it's not for what he said from what I know. I haven't called John. I've been sick and had family stuff going on. I need to call John about that. And we intend to keep having him on the show and keep having George on the show. So just fine with us. It's not my business. I just stay out of the infighting stuff completely. And Coast to Coast has never censored anything I've said or done. So there you go. That's what's happening with that. Last call, I'm sorry to Scott and Fred. William in North Carolina, go ahead.
Hi, Alex. How you doing?
Good, brother.
I'm calling about the solution that you've been begging for somebody to call in and tell you.
Tell me now.
For the last several years. It's a due process mandate of the grand juries. The grand juries have the ability to neutralize democracy with respect to constitutional acts. We don't have a conversation going on in this country on that subject.
No, I agree. Juries are supposed to nullify democracy activity.
Grand juries are.
Yes.
Juries are supposed to decide guilt or innocence.
No, I know, but I mean, juries can also vote on unconstitutional laws.
Absolutely. You mean a grand jury? A people's grand jury can manage government where we haven't had management.
No, but I'm saying jury nullification works in juries as well. I hear you. The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.